Next up on the stage, we'd like to introduce you to the DARPA ERIS Marketplace, a whole new way to engage with DARPA and defense stakeholders through a video pitch. You'll hear from Simon Klink, Rob Newton, Jen Thabit, and Jess Rezick on how to put your best video pitch forward. Over to you on the main stage.
Let's see. All right, welcome back from break. I saw a lot of great mixing, a lot of great networking, and I've heard lots of great questions. I'm going to flip the script on them, and they're seasoned enough to just go with it. You know, as a small business person, I really think it is important to find lots of new pathways so that we can hear from you. Right? Bold ideas quickly lose their relevance if we can't get you in the door. And we've already talked today about different pathways. But I think nothing is more impactful than our newest pathway. And no pressure, right? But that's the DARPA ERIS Marketplace. And you've heard a lot of talk about how DARPA streamlined things and we can go fast. But for me, the DARPA ERIS Marketplace isn't just about going fast. It's about what I like to call approachable access to acquisition. It is truly about lowering those barriers and getting you in the front door. So I'm going to do what I do and flip the script a little bit. Simon, this was sort of your baby. So to get us started off, let's talk through what ERIS is.
Yeah, so ERIS as an acronym stands for Expedited Research Innovation System. It's just an acronym. That's all it is. But I was in a briefing by our office director one time, and he said, by next quarter, we're going to have a new acquisition method. I said, oh, that sounds great. What's it going to be? And he said, I don't know. You got to figure it out. So that's where we are left. We were left with that. So what did we do? We ran some test cases. We tried to look at, if we're really going to buy into commercial, what's commercial mean? And Jen hit one of those, which was access. We needed to figure out access. We needed lower barriers, and we needed to find a way to bring speed from two different angles, and that's speed through competition and speed through award. So what does it mean to you as a performer? Well, when you look at how you propose now, you're reading a multi-page BAA or program solicitation, you're coming up with a point-in-time solution. If that solicitation doesn't come out again and you kind of miss the window for submitting a proposal, you might be done for 6-8 months before another opportunity opens up. That's what I call an on-demand solution. ERIS is a patient solution provider. It's open, it's ready, there's quick feedback loops. You're going to learn about program managers and interest demand immediately. And those were kind of our first order principles in order to stand up ERIS.
All right, so with that in mind, right, then who are the primary beneficiaries? Who are our targets? And Simon, I'm going to stick with you for a minute, and then I'm going to loop Jess and Rob into the conversation.
Yeah, so our targets really are, obviously the DARPA mission didn't change. We want people to provide disruptive technology for defense purposes. But those industries and participants in our market that don't get the opportunity to come in and respond to solicitations timely, readily, maybe not have the resources to submit something to every single proposal and have to pick and choose. That kind of falls in the small business non-traditional. We want you guys in our marketplace. We want to be able to look across kind of the field of DARPA and acquisition and all the program offices and find the best. And what's the best? Obviously, there's a supply-demand kind of function here. Our program managers need performers to execute on their mission. You guys are the supply side. We need you to participate. And by looking at methods and manners to get you in with less resources and still deliver on the mission, that's a critical part to DARPA. And that's what we want to execute on.
All right, Rob, I'm going to start with you. So Simon, if ERIS was your baby, Rob, you're the one that's kind of helping to bring it to sight for the contractor piece here. How is ERIS comparing to other solicitations, and how is this different?
Yeah, I mean, I think Simon just spoke to that a little bit. In a normal traditional solicitation, the program manager will put that out. It's usually out for anywhere from 30 to 60 days. You have to put your proposal in or your abstract in during that time zone. And then also, once that solicitation has gone out, there will be no real substantive communication between the program manager and the company because it's in this closed off like source selection stage. But with ERIS, as Simon mentioned, you can submit a submission, and if you get into the marketplace, your submission is now in the marketplace for 12 months. That could mean 10 months from the time you submitted, some PM sees your submission, is interested, he has funding, and he could begin negotiating with you. The other difference is once you are in the marketplace, you are considered post-competitive or you are awardable. You're not awarded, but you are awardable. And that means that if you're in the marketplace, if the PM is interested, he can talk to you or she can talk to you directly in negotiations about like working through your statement of work. That cannot happen in a traditional acquisition because of FAR and other rules.
Yeah, no, I'll build on it a little bit. When we thought about how to appropriately execute competition in ERIS, we raised it up a level. You're going to have 3 or 4 sentences to walk your solution through. That's about the length of our topic areas, we call them. Now, creative freedom to come in and tell us how your solution meets the public-facing rubric. So you have all the opportunity to time your submission and solution, and even get feedback on the back end and resubmit. It's not a one and done, like Rob was saying. We want you interested. We want you in the marketplace, and I think that as we gain traction and other users, because on the back end as well, not just DARPA PMs see your awardable status. Anybody with a .mil address can get an account, log in, look at the videos, and you don't have to necessarily get an award just from DARPA. It's our solicitation vehicle, but other .mils also can make awards.
Yeah, so as we kind of finish setting the stage a little bit on ERIS, Jess, I want to loop you into the conversation because I'm hearing a lot about the ERIS marketplace, and I can't help but notice there are other marketplaces. And so what really is a differentiator here with the ERIS marketplace, and how does it compare to the other ones that are out there?
Sure, absolutely happy to talk through that. So you may be familiar with the Tradewin Solutions marketplace, or Platform One and some other teams have marketplaces as well. They really are very mission focused. So if you take a look at the types of technologies that those marketplaces are looking for, they're going to align with the missions that they serve. And so as you take a look at the ERIS topic areas that are open, you'll see that they are in direct support of the DARPA mission in ways that topic areas for other marketplaces would not be. One of the other things that's really unique about DARPA is that they're working with very low TRL levels. So we're not talking about solutions that need to be TRL 9 and commercialized and on the shelf. We're talking about ideas, right? It can be a TRL 1 through 3 and still have a really compelling submission on ERIS, which is really unique. One of the other things that I think really sets this marketplace apart is the types of assessors and feedback that you'll receive. So DARPA has made the decision that the assessor pool is built from the DARPA Alumni Association. So that means the people who are watching your videos and giving you feedback on your submissions are former PMs, former office leadership, former agency leadership, who have a very deep understanding of the agency's goals, of its mission, of the types of technologies that are really revolutionary and will get the program managers excited. And they're going to be able to give you concrete and actionable feedback about how you can revise and resubmit, think about your framing, adjust, or maybe if it's not a fit, they're very well positioned to be able to give you the kinds of insights to understand whether your technology fits within the DARPA ecosystem.
Thanks, Jess. So tying this piece of it together, right? We are talking about post-competition awardable solutions. You know, I travel a lot and I talk with a lot of small businesses, a lot of universities, and I know that can be a huge drain on resources to put a proposal together. And maybe the BAA is asking for something that's really specific, and it's hard to get that pricing and that proposal exactly right. I think ERIS, from what I'm hearing, right, is really flipping that script a little bit and really opening that door up a little bit, making it a more valuable proposition, both for the performers and for DARPA. So that's my perspective, though, as a small business, but I know there's lots more value adds, right? So how does the DARPA ERIS model really fit into the agency, complement what we're doing, and provide value?
Yeah, I think the value streams are still being proven out, right? I had a question in one of the sessions about what's a seedling? What is that? Well, a lot of PMs they'll come in with ideas to sell to Dyro or management to make a program out of them, but they're missing one technical element. They're missing the fact-based kind of this is feasible part. So seedlings are literally what they are. That's a seed you plant in the ground and you figure out if it has potential to grow. Seedlings right now on ERIS have been kind of a predominant award mechanism. So you're seeing smaller, I'd say smaller dollar values, but for specific use cases. Other things we're experimenting with are, we're going to run programs off of ERIS. And I think that the barrier mentality of decreasing that, I mean, you're creating a 7-minute video in 4 slides. Now, I know everybody has an iPhone. Everybody probably shoots a lot of selfies. But why not make a video? Why not make a video and put it in and get feedback from the experts like Jess was talking about and learn DARPA, SMEs, and PM's opinions on your technology?
Yeah, Simon, can you let's stick with you just for a minute, because I want to pull the thread a little bit on something you've said, right? There's a value there for speed. There's a value there for ease of access, but I think there's a big value we should talk about when it comes to the whole contracting process when you are post-competitive.
Yeah, no, that's a point I gloss over because I'm too far down, right? And I'll get a little nerdy at first, but the statutes that we use are all kind of bound around the momentum pushing out of OSD right now of the use of other transactions. So there are 3 statutes and acquisition authorities we're using. And that's an OT for research, OT for prototype, and procurement for experimental purposes. It's not used that often, but it has a great potential. Potential means, you haven't done anything yet, but there's a lot of reward on that side. So I think that as we look at the value that it could provide, once you're in the marketplace, as Rob was saying, we don't have to wait for those competition metrics to come through. We don't have to have a full solution. We had conversations, our first couple of awards, surprisingly, 2 days after they're in the marketplace, we're on contract and awarded within 3 days. And so the value for DARPA, right, the speed for the PM to get to a solution, a metric we're tracking is contact to cash flow. We know small business, has limited runways. So we're looking at even different metrics that say, okay, when do you first get paid once you're awarded and executed? And we've seen that timeline down in the 50-day window. And that's unheard of. I don't think you can go get money from a bank in 50 days. I don't think you can go get a VC pitch and money in 50 days. And this is non-dilutive investment, right? DARPA is giving you money to go research something and find out results. I think the win is twofold from speed on the DARPA side, but also from an investment portfolio on the performer side.
Thank you. Rob, I'm going to kick it to you and then I'm going to send it down the line to Jess, right? I talked a lot today about the resources that the SIBR office provides to help our performers. And obviously ERIS is helping us get more people into DARPA program managers' viewpoints. But what are we doing to help the people that are in the marketplace? Because Simon said that you can get an award from any .mil. So how are we helping them?
Yeah, well, so first, through the DARPA Connect website, we have office hours for ERIS. There's coaches. There's, if you get into the marketplace, you can have office hours like, oh, what can I do to help make myself known. When you get into the marketplace, you will get a you get a packet basically on what you can do to market your business. You can go to basically government PMs at any.mil and let them know, hey, I'm awardable. Let them know what that means. Like, essentially meaning they can negotiate with you if they have funding. Some of the other things that are available. There's training courses on the DARPA Connect website.
That sounds a lot like DARPA Connect. Let's throw this down. Jess, where do you fit in on this?
So if you think about DARPA Connect as the front door to the agency, then ERIS becomes your front door to acquisition. So the two are really tightly tied together. In fact, because you already have your DARPA Connect login, you also already have an ERIS login. It's all single sign-on. So you just go to darpaconnect.us, you log in. If you click on Access ERIS, you can get into the portal immediately. We've really tried to streamline this as much as possible. And you'll notice that a lot of our DARPA Connect programming also supports ERIS. So webinars, certainly featuring Simon at one of our recent open mics and providing webinars for .mil users to understand how this works and how they can go in and make awards if they're not, in the DARPA ecosystem and they want to understand what ERIS looks like. We've really built out a suite of services around this to try to make sure that you've got everything you need to be successful up through getting that awardable status, and then once you're awardable and in the marketplace as well.
Yeah, I think just, you and I kicked off the day talking about what DARPA Connect was, right? And we talked about how we continuously have been adding these helpful resources to you. And so if you think about the journey we talked about this morning with the pop-ups being the start and then online curriculums and then that Connect Corner, ERIS seems to be maybe, I don't want to say final because at DARPA we don't ever stop innovating, but the latest end of the road where you can then build upon what you have learned and put a video in. So I would be remiss if we didn't talk about what the actual process is. We've said it's easy, but tell us, how easy is it?
Sure, absolutely. So one thing I'll mention up front is that in the very end of your brochure, it's the last page or close to the last page, there's a two-page spread on ERIS that'll walk you through this process in more detail. But we run ERIS on a monthly submission cycle. So that means from the beginning of the month through the end, we're collecting submissions against all of the topic areas that are open. We've got those topic areas available there for you in the brochure, but check out the solicitation because we update them regularly, right? So Simon's favorite line, read the solicitation, check them out. There is not a lot of detail in those topic areas, and that's on purpose. We look for you in your submission to tell us why your topic area is a fit for that really broad topic. And we've seen some really cool things happen with that, right? So the Strategic Technologies Office launched ERIS. They put a topic area out on sensing, and they fully expected it to be, stow-related technologies. And we got some biosensors that have been really relevant to the Biological Technologies Office. So we're already seeing a lot of gray space and overlap. It's a great way to get your ideas in front of program managers across the agency. So you make that 7-minute video. In the solicitation, there's a rubric that walks you through exactly how you'll be evaluated. The criteria are all laid out there clearly for you. So be sure that you're treating that as your matrix, as you're checking off all of the requirements for your video itself. Within a business day, that video will get checked for compliance. So we've got a team that watches every video as they come in. Once you hit submit, we're going to watch it to make sure we can see you, we can hear you. It's not 7 minutes and 2 seconds. It's under 7 minutes long. And that you don't have proprietary markings or any of the other requirements that, you've hit all the rubric criteria areas. If you didn't, we'll kick it back to you and say, you know what, not compliant, here's why. And then you can revise and resubmit as many times as you need to until you get that compliant status. Once you're compliant, at the end of that month, that's when we start the assessment cycle. So we're just ending up finishing our collection period for September. Next week, when October hits, we'll immediately start our assessment cycle. We have our team of subject matter experts who watches every video. They're going to give you that comprehensive feedback. Their feedback results go to a government selecting official, typically a program manager or office leadership at DARPA, who watches every video and makes the final determination about whether it's awardable or not. So they're doing all of that in the month after. Which means by the end of that month, you've got your answer of whether you were awardable or not. You're able to revise and resubmit if you weren't. And if you were, you'll get that welcome kit with all the information on how to market yourself.
Simon, how do we make sure, or Rob, how do we make sure that our program managers see the videos? Like, are they just sticking them on the marketplace and hoping for the best?
No, we, I mean, we have different tech offices are doing different things in Stowe. We have done things like the office leadership has basically had a pizza party and gathered the PMs in a conference room, and kind of racked and stacked a couple of videos that he thought were very relevant to the direction that he wanted to take the office, and just had people, we watched videos for an hour at a little bit faster than maybe at 1.25x, but anyway, and we had all of that to say is like things are happening in the agency to expose the PMs to ERIS, to explain to them how it is beneficial for the DARPA program managers, because it makes it easier and more accessible for you, but it also makes it easier and accessible for them to get money on contract or to award a performer. One of a win that we had in Stowe was there was a PM who had a program, he had excess funds, and there was a missing technology piece that he wanted. There was a performer in ERIS that he was able to take his program funds and negotiate and get an award very quickly.
One other thing I'll mention too, so we do a monthly supply drop to program managers for any new videos that come out. So we're sending them a detailed run through of, hey, here's everything that's new and awardable for the month so that we can get them excited about it. But we also integrated a number of new features into the marketplace. So one of them is matching with their biographies. So as a program manager, they can go in, they can enter their research interests, they can enter their bio and the types of things they're looking for. And as new solutions come in, they'll be matched to those videos to help them better and more efficiently identify solutions that could potentially be relevant to them. So we're iterating on the acquisition process and speed, we're also iterating on the platform and really trying to create robust enhancements where we can to make it as efficient as possible.
Thanks, Jess. I like to say that through these pop-ups and the education, the only thing that's really standing between you and DARPA is you. Because we are really trying to give you resources to make it easier. And I think ERIS really does that. So with that, even though we're over time, I don't care. I would like to yield this is what I do. I would like to yield some final comments to Simon. Like, Simon, this was really your vision and it's coming to life. So what is that one final takeaway that you want them to have when we leave this session?
I think it's really participation. Right. And that's on our end to ensure that our programs are participating. But from the performer base, we depend on you. You've heard it a couple times that, our 13-story building has no labs. We don't do any work. And I told our director one time that the only thing that big building produces is contracts. And that's kind of ingratiating, but it's true. And we need you in the building effectively to deliver on some of the great ideas that the program managers have. So please, watch the self-help videos. We had program managers give kind of a robust explanation of the scoring rubric, and get your videos in.
Thank you.
Thank you, panelists. Attendees, be sure to create your ERIS Marketplace account. Instructions are in the brochure at your seats. That's also where you'll find a link to the solicitation on sam.gov, as well as explainer videos and lots more. And there is also an excellent curriculum module on the ERIS Marketplace at darpaconnect.us.